All right. So we'll begin. And welcome to our Sunday night session. I encourage everyone to consistently promote this. Understandably, this is a new habit that we want to develop. And we want to do this every Sunday night because we had the feedback that on a Monday morning, people's minds are already frantic, and most doctors have already scheduled their operating procedures for Monday morning. So I hope everyone has listened to Achieving Excellence part two. So I just wanted to ask how many of you have listened to the audio Achieving Excellence part two last night, over the past week. Please send a chat message on how many times you listened to the audio. Okay. Who else? No one else? Oh my goodness. So who else? Who else listened to the audio? No one listened to the audio except one and Lisa. All right. So and this is the reason why we this has to be a collaboration. And while we will provide you information here tonight, we need to understand that for a concept to be fully understood, we need to repeat, repeat, repeat until we fully understand. And the good news is that you can once you learn these concepts by heart, you will be able to apply it to your different situations in your business and in your organizations later on. So before we start, I'd like you to look at this sentence. Finished files are the result of years of scientific study combined with the experience of years. So, first assignment. Okay, I'm gonna give you 20 seconds to count how many F's there are, and I want you to put that number on a piece of paper or on your cell phone. So, 20 seconds begin. How many F's are there in these two sentences? Okay, so done. Now, since I understand that most of us do not have yet the discipline to listen to the audio material on our own, we're going to do that together here for Achieving Excellence Disc 3. Now, I invite you for the next hour to have an alert mind because this topic will help you understand yourself better and to also help you understand why people do not move forward in the business, either sign up or even after sign up. So grab a notebook and a pen and also a or your cell phone and take notes as we listen to Achieving Excellence Series 3. After this, we'll have a processing session and we'll end by 11.
Well, here we go again. You already know how much potential you've got inside of yourself. I think you're discovering that. And you know it's not enough just to have potential. And it isn't even enough to have a dream. Because I hear a lot, particularly in your business, people say, well, you've got to get a dream. And that is absolutely essential. You've got to have a passion. That's absolutely essential. And you've got to have the knowledge and you've got to have the skills. And that's absolutely essential. But there's an emotional component and a self-regulating component that with all the good intent, more than likely, if you don't fix the internal idea of what you deserve, your self image, all of that potential will lie dormant. And you'll be frustrated as the dickens, and you'll fix the blame, and you'll do all kinds of things to just go back to the way you used to be. And that's not what we're after. We're going to keep growing month after month, year after year. We're going to become bigger and better and greater than we have ever dreamed possible. And that's another problem. Remember when I talked to you about efficacy way back? When we first began, I said, it's your idea of what you can cause or whatever. There's an interesting concept on that we ought to address right now. You don't let yourself want what you don't believe you can cause. That's research out of Stanford University. Even though the potential's inside of yourself. Now, I said when he told me that, Dr. Bandura told myself that, and I said, what does he mean by that? I need to go back and look for examples. And one of the examples that I could see, when I was a high school teacher, and Diane was also, we had all these adopted kids around us, maybe 9 at one time. And we had taken the vow of poverty by mistake. It was like our cars we were driving were junkies. So every year, Diane and I'd say, now listen, we've got to get a new car. We need a new car, and we genuinely need a new car. But we didn't think new car. We were talking a new junkie. A new car never came to our mind, and that's what he's talking about. You don't get the dream if you don't believe inside yourself you can. The dream is controlled. The aspiration is controlled by your appraisal of how good you are. The dream, by the way, creates the appetite for your growth. The dream is a causative factor inside yourself as we go into the Gestalt psychology and the motivation and increasing awareness and all the things of stimulating creativity, how all this works. You'll be so excited about it because what you're going to find is, wow, I know now how to release inside of myself all this potential lying dormant. And I'm going to focus it in this business to creating the lifestyle for my family and for myself that I've always dreamed about. But you've been dreaming used car. I want you to dream new car over and over and over. So let's come back a little bit and let's talk more about beliefs and self-concept and self-image. It's very important because I'm only giving you gleams of information that I come back and film. That's my style. So you're going to, as you go away, you're going to have a lot of questions, but then these questions will be answered. And you'll be very strong. Remember, I'm not a motivator. I'm teaching. I'm educating. I'm giving you knowledge that when you apply it, and you apply it effectively, your life will immediately get better and for the long term also. So I asked you to explore beliefs. Beliefs you didn't even know you have. So wherever you're stuck, it isn't necessarily that you're stuck because you don't have the potential. There's something going on inside of you, perhaps. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about, too, is accountability as we unfold, and it's called the locus of control. Who's in charge? Is it in the stars? Is it my horoscope? Is it something outside of me, or is it inside of me? I want you to act like it's inside of you, that the power's inside of you, not outside of you. And so you say, well, you don't know where I am. Well, then get out of where you am. Well, I don't have what it takes right now. Well, then get it. Take charge of your life. And that's going to be the theme, a motto you and I are going to continually go over and over and over. Because otherwise you're going to fix the blame that maybe the head office isn't giving me, or my upline isn't giving me, or it's the economy, or it's the, come on. It always is going to be something. But inside you, you're going to fix it. And that's what we've got to do. Full accountability. The locus of control is inside of you. You are a causative being. You are not a victim of external circumstances. There are external circumstances that are unpleasant, but we're going to deal with them, and we're going to win anyway. So we're going back to beliefs, huh? We go to Australia a lot, and one time in Australia not long ago, we were there was a person by the name of Cliff Young. I've used him for an example for a couple of years because it's a magnificent story. What he did was he entered a race between the city of Sydney, Australia, and Melbourne, which is about 600 miles, if you can imagine. It's a long race. The guy showed up, 61 years of age, never running against world-class people before, showed up in Oshkosh in bib overalls and galoshes. No running shoes, no track gear, no sweatsuit, Oshkosh overalls. So they thought the guy got in the wrong food line. They interviewed him, really, to see what makes you think you're qualified to run against people of this caliber. And Cliff Young said, well, he didn't have any cows on his station, so he had to chase his cows on foot. Well, this pig farmer, cow farmer, all of his life just running, showed up and entered against the best in the world at 600 miles. And not only did he run against them, but he won the race. And the reason I tell you isn't even that he won the race. It was because he beat them by a day and a half. Wow. Got a whole day and a half off the world's record. Not just a minute, not an hour, a day and a half. Now, it was the absence of the truth that set him free. Remember, you behave and you act in accordance with the truth as you believe it. Groups do too. Nations do. Businesses do. Religions do. We behave and act with a group truth. There's a group reality. And this group of experts, they knew if you're going to run 600 miles, you run, if you will, let's say, I think it was 18 hours a day and you sleep 6. That would make sense, wouldn't it? If you said you run 6 and sleep 18, I think I'd believe that. Well, this guy, when he came from the outback, not hanging around people who could tell him how the business was, it wasn't that he was faster, he didn't know you were supposed to sleep, see, nobody told him. So while the rest of them were sleeping their 6 hours, this guy just kept running. Oh, humanly impossible, he's going to die, they thought. It's too far ahead for anybody to tell him. Can you imagine that if you change the way you think, challenge those, this is the way it is in my life, this is the way it is, that's where your breakthroughs come. We don't really know what the truth is, but we behave, we act, we work. Remember the bicep-tricep principle that I gave you about you try to lift the glass off the table and it doesn't come, and then you push against it? See, it's interesting that he entered the race the next year and didn't finish the race because he got injured, but they broke his record, and they have every year since. You set a whole new level of performance. You release the truth inside yourself. And all of a sudden, then, your behavior follows. Your doing follows. As someone told me recently, you change your being, your doing follows. And that's the truth. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The heart was the center of the person in those days. We're talking now about the neuron structure of the brain, the self-talk and the assimilation of reality stored about what we can do and how we are and what's possible for us and so on. That's the thinketh part. So if you change the way you thinketh, you change the way you iseth. And that's our goal. Change the way we thinketh, and we're going to change the way we iseth. So these beliefs that we hold, remember, they affect in so many ways. But I want to show you another way. Coming with this audio portion is a sentence. And you're probably wondering, what in the dickens was this sentence? Well, I want you to do now, if you will, is take that sentence that came with this audio portion. And what I want you to do is to, if you will, quickly read the sentence one time carefully to yourself. Hurry up. Got it? Okay. Now, what I want you to do this time, instead of reading it, is very quickly, if you will, count the number, let's say, count the number of letter F's that you see in the sentence. Go ahead, letter F's. Aha. Well, if you're like most people, you got the 3 F's. Maybe you missed one and only counted 2. But what if I was to tell you that there are 6 F's in that sentence and ask you to try hard to find them? Go ahead. You say, I don't think so. I can't find them. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody's trying to talk you into something and you knew it wasn't right? This could be the time. High performance people are very skeptical, remember. You're not supposed to listen to everything everybody tells you. I already told you that. So try hard to find them. Oh, remember we talked about trying hard? Well, all you need to do if you want to release, instead of trying hard, just count the number of ofs that you see in the sentence quickly. Go ahead. Don't slap yourself in the head. Okay. The number of ofs. There's 3 of them, isn't there? And now how many F's are there? Oh, amazing. How could you leave them out? That's what's going to be interesting as we understand. Let me tell you why you leave them out. Not because you aren't smart, because you are smart. Not because you're not a good reader, because you are a good reader. What happens is, for years, you've been taught to read phonetically, and the F in the word of, you get a mindset. It's OV if you learn English phonetically. So now, so what? Of, OV, affects how you see things. It affects your eyes. You don't see with your eyes, you pick up light with your eyes. You translate the light based upon how in the past you've been conditioned to translate the light. And if your past conditioning doesn't match what you're looking at, you don't see it. So where's the business coming from? Where am I going to find people? How would you know your old business was conditioning you? What you're experiencing is SCOTOMAS now. That's a blind spot, like the F's right now we're talking about. Why you didn't see it? It's called a scotoma, a sensory blocking out of your environment. You pick up light with your eyes, you translate it in your brain based upon your old conditioning, and if it doesn't match your old conditioning, you don't see it. Now, come on. Remember when I said don't give up too easily? Remember when I said that you got a lot of potential? Remember when I said business is going to be easy? Remember when I said you don't want to try hard? All you need to do is uncondition yourself and listen to the right people and the correct people and get the right information in, and your business will be as easy as finding more F's. Now, that's an interesting thing when you look at this because most people don't know that they have scotomas. They always think they're seeing the truth. They always think they're being sensible. And they behave in accordance with the truth as they see it or believe it or perceive it to be. And they don't think and they don't even know that their perception is messed up by their beliefs, by their past conditioning. And so they give up. They don't struggle enough. Struggle isn't even the right word, is it? Let me take the word struggle out of there. They don't remain resilient. They don't remain committed. They lose their hope. They talk themselves out of their future because they can't now see the solution. They can't find the resources or the knowledge of the people. And so they believe they don't exist. But now that you know about scotomas, you will start from here forward with the idea, the belief, the premise, that there is an answer to the problem, I just don't see it. Not because I'm not smart, but because of my past background, my education, my knowledge base, my religion, where I came from. I'm full of blind spots. And my job is to be a scotoma buster for myself and everybody else I bring into the business. And when you have that, then you can have higher aspirations. You don't need to know where the resources are. You can set a goal bigger than where you are, and you can set a goal to become what you are not. You don't need to know what you presently will need in order to fill the goal. Remember when I said you need a dream, you need a high dream, and you don't back it up and you grow bigger than your dream? That's what I'm talking about. When you know how your mind works, and that's what you're learning, it should give you hope and give you confidence and know how much smarter you are than you ever believed possible. When you were a child in school and maybe you didn't get what the teacher was saying, and you were taught that it was aptitude or intelligence, you took aptitude tests, you took intelligence tests, and you said to yourself, well, I'm not this smart, I don't have the aptitude for this. We think, and I believe, that aptitude tests and intelligence tests are one of the greatest injustices ever perpetrated upon man. Because if you start believing you don't have the aptitude, you're going to act like it. If you start thinking you're not smart, you're going to act like it. Remember, efficacy, to know you can know, to know how smart you are, is very essential. I know you're smart. I know you're capable, but it doesn't do me any good to know it. You got to know it, or you'll quit too easy and you won't set big enough goals. And you won't go after them. You won't become what you're capable of becoming. So if you don't believe it, you ought to believe that I believe it and just go on my belief for a while until you get a belief of your own, because I know better. The millions of people that I've helped around the world, unconsciously and consciously releasing the potential. Now, so scotomas exist. They exist in you. When you introduce your business to another person, they're full of scotomas. They can't see it. They're wondering, what are you talking about? You go back and tell your spouse about the business. They have scotomas. They don't see it. Now, the problem is, you might know there's 6 F's, like I knew there was 6 F's. You just can't see them, or you can't get it across to the other person. See? And so we don't fix the blame on the other person. You've got to be able to communicate and explain correctly your business so that they can see, oh, I got it. I got it. Nations go to war over scotomas. They just can't see the truth. Marriages break up over scotomas. Blind spots exist. They're all over the place. You, if you're going to be successful in this business, need to know how to communicate, how to speak correctly, how to help people see what they don't see. They are behaving in accordance with the truth as they believe it. And we're not explaining the business correctly. We're not showing them the opportunity correctly. We're not bringing the potential out of them correctly. That's not bad. I'm not trying to put you down. I'm trying to encourage you. Hey, it's your control. Come on. See, I've worked in education a lot, and I find teachers who know their subject matter can't get it across to the kids, so they flunk the kid and they keep the teacher. They fix the blame on the kid. Well, teacher, the kid's smart enough if you're good enough, so let's teach differently. The kid is going to get it if you will help that kid see. But if you believe the kid doesn't have the intelligence, if you believe they don't have the aptitude, then you will quit. You'll stop. You won't persist. You won't figure a way out because you've got an excuse. It's not your fault. If I had a smarter student, I'd be a better teacher. Don't you sometimes wish you had better prospects out there, better people to bring into the business? They're all good enough if you're good enough. Come on. You got to become a scotoma buster. And they're full of beliefs, and we don't even know what they are. And neither do they. So your job is to help them see 6 F's. But it's not the F's. It's opportunity. It's the way through this in the business. And I want you to remember now, whenever you're stopped, whenever you're stuck, the answer exists. I know it, you know it. The answer does exist. You just don't see it. So let's take it another step now. You ever lose the keys to your car? Or you lose your purse or your wallet? Now remember the power of self-talk. Remember the cognitive dissonance. I want to put these together for you now. So you tell yourself with your own self-talk, I've lost my keys. Well, according to Festinger, who came up with the cognitive dissonance principle, you don't want to make yourself look stupid, remember? So if you know you lost them, what would make you look stupid? That's finding them. So you look all over the house, you don't see them anywhere. All of a sudden your spouse says, there they are, right under your nose where you're looking. Well, I'll be darned, they are there. Instead of F's now, it's the keys or your purse that you see. And you say, well, who moved them? I looked there and they weren't there. To you, they weren't there. So how you speak to yourself about opportunity, about your business, and the way your day is going to go is essential. You can talk yourself into seeing or out of seeing. If it's not there, it's not going to see it anyway. But if it is there and you're not talking to yourself correctly, with your correct self-talk, you aren't going to see it. Just like the keys, just like the F's. So you're conditioning yourself. And remember when I said you've got to become very critical of the self-talk that's coming your way. Because people will be telling you what's hard and what can or can't be done. And when you buy into it, it affects your perception. Does that make sense to you? The potential inside of you. You've colored your whole life based upon your mom's background, your dad's background, your friend's background, the school, the environment, what you listen to, and what you read. You have enormous potential ready to be released. Now also, if you remember, we talked about self-regulating, didn't we? Remember we said we self-regulate, but I didn't tell you much about self-regulation. Self-regulation has a lot to do with what's called your self-image. What's a self-image? Well, it is your accumulated present reality, the truth as you know it. But do you ski? Oh no. Are you a race car driver? Oh no. Do you have a bad temper? Oh yes. Are you really smart? Just so-so. Are you pretty? Oh, not very. Are you outgoing? No. Can you speak to others? Oh gosh, no, I get. See how you describe yourself to yourself? What do you tell yourself you can and cannot do? That is your image. And you have built that, remember, through the assimilation of the reality with your own thought, no matter what other people have told you. Now, once you know how you are, it is the job of your creative subconscious process to maintain sanity. So like I mentioned, with some of my young children that we adopted that were abused, when they know the world beats them up, if you're not beating them up, they do things in their behavior to make you beat them up. The person that knows they're poor wins money, they got to correct for the mistake. Those of you that ever golfed or bowled, if you're a bowler and you go out and you bowl, you know how good you are. If you bowl above your average, don't worry, the next few frames you're going to screw up. You'll bowl below your average. You've got to. You can't be different than you know you are. Not for long. How come? Because sanity is more important than bowling better. Sanity is more important than being loved. Sanity is more important than a good marriage. Sanity is more important than being wealthy. Sanity is more important than being successful in this business. And if you don't see yourself being successful or at the top of the business and only see yourself in the middle or at the lower end of the business, you will do everything within your subconscious creative power to stay where you belong. With an abundance of opportunity around you, and you will build a SCOTOMAS to it. Instead of the F's or the keys, you won't see opportunity. And if you do see opportunity, you'll do something to screw it up. Remember I said how you are in charge of your life? That's what I'm talking about. Years ago, there was a guy, it was a convict that came to me by the name of Emmett Tweedy. He passed away since, so I can talk about him. Emmett was locked up for years, and his wife, Isabel, was even locked up in the women's penitentiary, so he wasn't even a good crook, or he wouldn't have been in jail so much. When he got out, I gave him what I'm just telling you about. You create your own reality? Okay, he says, well, now that I'm out, I think I'll go into the upholstery business. He was in his late 50s. But he needed a sewing machine. He said, but I can't get a sewing machine because I don't have any money. I said, well, why don't you get one on credit? He said, well, you don't get credit if you're a convict. I said, how do you know? He told me a guy by the name of Don Anthony White told him. Don Anthony ran the prison inside of our penitentiary at Walla Walla. So he was the who said, the guy that knew it all. So Don said you couldn't get credit if you're a convict. Oh. I said, well, why don't you try it? Just believe that I said you could do it and go try it. So we went down to Lacey, which is a community in our state capital. Came back a couple of weeks later to a follow-through program we had. He said to me with amazement, hey, he said, I went in and I got a sewing machine on credit. And the thing he said that was so remarkable was, and they didn't even ask me if I was a convict. Well, how many times have they asked you lately? They don't ask, but you can get them to ask. If you know you're a drunk, just got out of prison, don't pay your bills, when you go in to ask for credit, you'll sound like it. So your body language, your tone of voice, and how you speak is all connected to your inner idea of how you are. You communicate on the outside exactly what your intent is on the inside. And if in fact you're scared and unsure of yourself and you're talking to somebody you're trying to bring into the business, I'm going to tell you what, they'll recognize and they'll see it. And you knew it. So you expected it. And sure enough, it happened, didn't it? Of course. So you've got to get your mind right. You've got to get your image right. You are sending messages constantly to the external world about how you feel and think on the inside. So now remember, it doesn't make any difference by changing businesses. If you don't change the inside of you, you could have been a failure or not successful or so-so in your old business. Don't expect to be better in this business unless you fix your mind. How do we fix our mind? We control our self-talk. Our self-talk controls our beliefs. There's other ways too, affirmation process on how we visualize and how we set goals. And all those kind of things are so important. Now remember, I'm encouraging you about how smart you are and how capable you are. You're lying dormant inside yourself. It isn't just the big dream you've got. We've got a lot of things to fix inside of ourselves. We've got to fix the attitudes that emerge. We've got to recognize when we're stopping ourselves. We've got to recognize when we're creatively avoiding. We've got to recognize it isn't necessarily a time management course I need, that what I'm doing is stalling. What I'm doing is creatively avoiding those things that I perceive that would be uncomfortable or where I might get rejected or where I fear to go, where I fear to tread, and I can't understand why I can't get myself to do it. And you come up with the wrong reason why you can't do it. So I'm going to talk to you as we go along about how to change in these next few situations. Now that we know about beliefs, we know about perception, well, how in the dickens do we start changing all this stuff, and how does it control us? And my goodness, my life's getting better already. And it should be. If you are absolutely controlling your self-talk, and if you recognize, first of all, that you do have that potential, and now that you know that you're affecting your own perception by the way you think, you're going to be careful how you think, you're going to be very careful about how people talk to you. And now that you know about attitudes, you're not going to quit when you can't get yourself to do something. You're not going to give up on your goal. What you're going to do is change your attitude. All this makes sense to you, I know. You should get a tremendous kind of a thrill inside of yourself. You can see for the first time that this isn't hype. This is not just magic. You know, you've seen yourself and you've done well. You've done these things. We're going to do them more and more and more. You won't be perfect at this. But if we stay with it and if we keep working at it, you're going to get better and better and better. So in the next unit, we're going to talk about more about self-regulation, more about releasing. We're going to talk about self-esteem and how important that is. How you got to nurture it. How your self-esteem is okay as long as you stay in your own job in your own neighborhood. with your old friends and your old stuff. Now that you're going out in the new world, we got to fix it. So see you soon.
Okay, so are you awake? All right, so thank you to Lutais for that awesome training. This this audio series was commissioned by New Skin in the early 2000s to support its distributor organization and help empower the distributor force. I attended this in 2006 maybe, and it was a very meaningful program, not only an audio series. This is a program where we have weekly topics and modules that help us progress from a cycle of failure or dissatisfaction with our results to a cycle of success, achievement, and intention. So that's all about Achieving Excellence Series Part 3. Concept is SCOTOMAS. So what are SCOTOMAS? So let's review. So based on the discussion of Lutais, these are the belief concepts that happen to us. And I'd like to invite you to look at this initially for yourself. And also, if you are leading other people, ask yourself how this is applicable to the people that you're leading. So, first, people don't let themselves want what they believe they cannot cause. You do not let yourself want what you believe you cannot cause. Okay, so uh, the concept here is that you need to believe it so that you can embrace the wanting of that goal. You don't get the dream if you don't believe inside yourself you can. And it is the dream that creates the appetite for your growth. So he also talked about the locus of control, and it is internal. So if you don't have what it takes, get it. No more excuses. So it doesn't matter what you know, what you don't know. You have the locus of control. You get it. So these are the concepts, and we'd like to talk about a concept he also talked about called self regulation. So, what is self regulation? Okay, self regulation. It is your internal idea of what you deserve. Do you deserve 30,000 per month, 50,000 per month, 100,000 per month, 150,000 per month? Do you deserve 10 sign ups in a month? Do you deserve strong executives? Do you deserve strong Ruby executives? Do you deserve strong Blue Diamond executives? Do you deserve star creators in your organization? What do you believe you deserve? Do you deserve to lead leaders or to lead followers or just take care of customers? It is somehow our, it is also called IP, identity package, who you see yourself to be and what you deserve in terms of success. So what happens is that subconsciously we are working only up to what we believe we deserve. So some food for thought. Maybe you can write your answers on a piece of paper or on your cell phones. How much do you feel you deserve per month and at what effort? How much do you feel you deserve per month and at what effort? Is it 100,000 pesos or higher or lower? But working very hard. So is your regulation hardworking and earning just enough? So our dreams are controlled by our appraisal of how good we are, or what we call our self-image. Who do you perceive yourself to be? Who do you perceive yourself to be? Again, do you perceive yourself to be a leader of clients? meaning you can get a lot of clients, and that's good. You see yourself as a leader of distributors who find their own clients. Do you see yourself as a leader of executives who train their own teams? Or do you see yourself as a leader of leaders who you will help develop to become bigger and better each year? So, what happens is that actions are regulated if you are already getting what you believe you deserve. So, if you believe that you deserve 3,000 points and at the 15th of the month you hit 3,000 points, guess what happens? You stop because you regulate your action not against what is your potential, but against what you believe you deserve. So, we have some reflections. Looking at your current situation, what is the income you believe you deserve at what effort? So, maybe at what effort you can rate it at 1 to 10, 10 being fully exerted, 1 is fully relaxed, 5 is somewhere in the middle. How have you regulated your actions to stay in this level? Upwards or downwards? Based on your actions, you will know if you're actively pursuing your dreams or settling for the present. How do your actions for your dreams compare to actions in actions to settle for today? So I'll give you 2 minutes to answer these three questions, and after that, share a little bit on our on our chat page. So 2 minutes, answer these three questions. Begin. 1 more minute. Okay, begin finishing up. So, uh, I hope you finished it, and in the interest of time tonight, I'd like you to reflect on it after our session and be more aware of where you are at present and how you have regulated yourself. I remember before I just hit 1,000, 2,000 points and I stopped already. So because my goal was just to maintain my executiveship. So what happened? I earned what, $900. What's that? 9,000 pesos, because I only wanted to maintain my executiveship. So what happened? I only worked as hard as 2,000 points. And then eventually it changed, and as you upgrade your self-regulation or expand your self-regulation, then you'll also see an expansion of your results. Something is okay. So sorry, in this audio, Blue Ties was sharing a story about a guy. His name's Cliff Young. Cliff Young is was a farmer, and he ran I think it's called an ultra marathon. And what happened was that when he arrived on the racetrack for the starting gun, people laughed at him because he was very rural, parang sandals lang, hindi siya naka full gear, no, sandals and all, and people were mocking him. And then they began the race, and this was a really like a super Ironman race. And the interesting part was that of all the professionals in that race, it was Cliff Young who won. But for him to win is one thing, but for him to win the race by an entire day against the next uh, runner, the next winner, is what was mind-boggling. And what happened? Basically, everyone else had mental barriers. But for Cliff Young, he just thought about the race, and for him, it was to run as much as fast as he could. So what happened? He didn't sleep and he didn't eat. Everyone else took their time to sleep, took their time to eat, and Cliff Young had no limits in his mind. So he had the drive, and so he won the race and beat them by a day and a half. So what happened was that the absence of the truth that set him free, the absence of the limitations, the truth as we believe it to be, set him free to release his full potential. He did not know that you were supposed to sleep. So, if you want to dramatically change results, change the way we think and we behave in accordance. Change the way we think because we behave in accordance of the truth we believe it to be. So, what do we need to do? We need to release the truth inside yourself. So, I'll share with you a quote. Um, the only thing limiting us in life is our belief that there are limits. The only thing limiting us in life is our belief that there are limits. So, self limiting beliefs. What limitations do I put on myself? What beliefs do I follow even when it does not give the best results? What paradigms about the world do I need to change to achieve faster success? At this point, I'd like you, everyone, to examine themselves and how they have limited themselves by saying, I'm only going to do this time. I remember I only do my business during lunch break and after office. I can only go to one area per day, Makati on Wednesday at that time. And then Thursday in Ortigas, that's all for my business. So the success and the growth of my business was dramatically limited. When those limitations were taken out, go to Davao, go to Pangasinan, go to Baguio, there were no more limitations. And because there were no more limitations, then I could succeed anywhere I wanted. So, at this point, I'd like you to reflect on your own personal situation. What limitations do you put on yourself? And what beliefs do you follow even when it does not give you the best results? What paradigms about the world do you need to change to achieve faster success? So, another 2 minutes, please begin. 1 more minute. Begin finishing up. Okay, I hope you were able to complete your responses. For now, we'll move forward in the interest of time. So let's talk about scotomas. What are scotomas? Scotomas are blind spots that we have developed due to our old conditioning, who we have been taught to become, and unfortunately, these are the things that we think are real or we don't know really exists. So I'll give you some examples of scotomas, and this is our scotomas of some of our prospects or even some of us once upon a time. So what's an example of scotoma? I am okay earning a stable paycheck, not thinking about the future, just the present. I can pay for the present, no problem. That is a scotoma, a blind spot. People don't know that they don't know that this is not a good thing. I'm Another example. I am okay pursuing my corporate goals. My personal goals are irrelevant. So many people have this scotoma. Go, 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 go sa corporate goals, but personal goals, forget. Very easy to forget. Another scotoma, one of my friends, very intelligent, magna cum laude from Cebu. I already have the best income opportunity with my job. Instead of, I can have bigger income opportunity if I work for myself. So these are examples of scotomas of people. So, two questions. What are examples of my scotomas, past and present? What are the scotomas of the people I present to that I need to bust? For example, what are my scotomas before was that people will, I'm afraid of people judging me. People will judge me if I represent a network marketing opportunity, and they would not like the presentation. Okay, so that's an example. Or most rich people are close-minded. Most rich people can just buy products but not want to do the business. Okay, so These provide some examples. I'll give you a minute. What are the scotomas that you had in the past or even at the present that might be hindering you from the success that you want? Okay, just a few seconds. Okay, so I hope you also copy the questions because um, we are in the interest of time. We're cutting this short. So what must happen? So we need to understand what happens when people start a business and they stop the business or they do not move forward. We also need to understand why people do not do the business at all after we present to them. So people quit because they talk themselves out of the future that they want. So our job, therefore, is to be a scotoma buster for me, for us, and the people we bring into the business. They have certain mindsets that are not healthy. They are closed mind. They have the wrong information, and because they have that scotoma, they cannot see what we see. We are here tonight on Sunday night because we want to succeed and achieve financial freedom, and it is clear to us what we see for our future. But not everyone sees that yet, and it can be as simple as they don't feel the urgency, or it can be as simple as that they think it's a scam. It can be as simple as they have questions about the product. So our job is all those doubts, questions are what we call scotomas, and our job is to bust those scotomas so they can be enlightened like us and become part of the Illuminati. Yes. So for us to be able to bust scotomas, we must be able to communicate effectively, speak correctly, and see what they do not see, and be able to help them see what they do not see. Let me give some examples. Scotoma busting. A prospect will remain a prospect because of this scotoma. Okay. Their scotoma is I am okay where I am. I just see without right now in my job. That is another scotoma. If you are able to bust that scotoma, you can transform a prospect scotoma from I'm okay where I am, I don't need to change, to a mindset that all of us must work hard to for the best life, not just to get by for our family. So itong una, prospect, they think, pwede na, distributor, go pa. Prospect scotoma, I don't have the money to start a business. After they talk to you one-on-one, they will take out that scotoma and say, I must find a way to start and change my financial situation. Because they met you, they concluded that they must find a way to get started and change their financial situation. Before your engagement, they think, I'm too busy with what I am doing now. After your engagement, they will have a better perspective. Their scotoma would have been busted, and they will say, I want to become busy, becoming here. What is their role? A role is scotoma master, to help people overcome their blind spots. As we do this, of course, you will have to practice and talk to a lot of people. So no one said it would be easy. They just said it would be worth it. Because after you master becoming a Scotoma master, you will achieve happiness and financial abundance. So here are some affirmations that we'd like to shut up. And in our own quiet homes, these are things that we want to affirm to ourselves. And I encourage you to take a screenshot of this. And every time that you are regressing, you shout it out. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it. But as I read it, I invite everyone to read with me. You do not have to unmute your microphones, but I encourage you to build yourself up. Okay? So, our affirmation, the first. Okay? Okay lang po kahit hindi tayo mag-unmute. Okay? Shout out to yourselves. Okay? I am completely, all right? 3, 2, 1. I am completely self-determined and I allow others the same privilege. What does that mean? We help other people be self-determined. What is self-determined? They determine their future, not other people determining their future, not their boss, not their office mates, not their parents, not their family. We become self-determined and we sponsor people and teach people to be self-determined. Number 2, shout out with me. 3, 2, 1. I am a leader with tremendous vision, empathy, and understanding of my people. This allows us to achieve immense success. Number 3, altogether, I recognize situations where I am limiting my performance because of scotomas to my true potential, and I increase my possibilities immediately. Okay? Fourth, together, one, two, three. I clearly and creatively explain my business to a new person so they can say, I've got it, I understand, and I want to join. Okay, I think itong number 4 is very effective, especially as you are sponsoring aggressively. Let's repeat number 4 emphatically. 3, 2, 1, go. I clearly and
I clearly and creatively explain my
my
business to a new person so they
so
can
they can
say,
say,
I've got it,
got it. I
understand, and
understand
I want
to
to
join.
join.
Thank you. So screenshot and do this every day, morning and evening. So what is the power of self-talk? Okay, last 2 slides. Lost keys. Sometimes the key is in already somewhere with us, but we cannot find it because we always think that we are forgetful. So when we think we are forgetful, we become forgetful. You talk yourself into your situation. Business is tough. I'm not a good leader. What happens? You make it happen because you think it. So be critical of your self talk. Be very critical. Be conscious. Because when other people tell you something, it doesn't really matter if it helps you because you will talk to yourself 10 times more. And if your self talk is regressive, and then what will happen? You will stay the same. Because people will tell you what can or cannot be done. So, what do you say to yourself when they say that it cannot be done? What is your self talk? Self regulation is determined by your self image. What is your self image? Do you see yourself as a leader, or do you see yourself as a follower, or do you see yourself as a leader of followers or a leader of leaders? You might have a leader in front of you, but if in your mind you are just a follower, you will doubt your ability to sponsor and train that leader. So, what we need to do is reframe our self image to become, to progress month after month, year after year. And it's okay to stay at a certain level and progress to the next level step by step. So, what happens to a lot of people? Sanity becomes more important than being happy, more than happy relationships. What happens? Nagkakaroon ng self-sabotage. Because, some people are not used to success and being in the limelight and being edified. So, okay, I'll just stay here as a lapis. I'm not yet as fast. I'll stay as an executive because I know myself not to be a leader. So, if I become a leader, I will become insane. If I sponsor top prospects, oh my goodness, that's not true. I will try, but I will not sponsor them. Why? Because I am not that type of person. So, even if the prospect is in front of you and they are a CEO, and then in your mind, you are not a leader of leaders, what will happen? You will convert that person to a customer. Even if that person would have wanted to be a super blue diamond and $1 million circle member. Only if you were able to bust those SCOTOMAS. Sanity or progress? So, in what ways in the past did you allow self talk to restrict the actions you needed to progress yourself? Number two, how can you talk to yourself better to overcome this barrier? What specific actions will you take to upgrade your results? Reflection and answer the guide questions, please. 2 minutes. Begin. Okay, so I'd like to invite a few people to share. Anyone? Anyone would like to share? It's okay. You can unmute your microphones and share in audio. Or are you still self-regulating? Sharing na lang, self-regulating pa. Oh my goodness. So anyone? Anyone would like to deregulate your self-regulation? Wala? Would like to share?
Ako na.
Who's that? Who's this?
Me, Helen.
Oh, Doc Helen, that's you. Ikaw pala yung HI. Okay. Doc Helen.
Did I put
Uh,
Helen ba yun?
oh, Doc Helen, I'm glad that you are here. I thought you were not here. Okay, Doc Helen, please share your insights.
Before I thought that, di ba, sabi ko I'm not a good leader. Oh, I'm not a leader pala.
Okay.
So, that's what I kept on telling myself that I am just a good follower. So, but now how can you talk to yourself better to overcome these barriers? So, it's because I always do things not in front but just behind. I'm always behind the scene. So I kept on telling myself that I'm just a good follower. So to uh but you did change me, right? You kept on asking me to talk in front and just reminding me that I am a good leader. So after a while I now I'm used to think that I am now a leader and trying to be good. So yung barrier pa rin kasi may try. So I will be a good leader.
Okay. Marunong na.
So marunong na.
Okay. Thank you, Doctora. So, what specific actions will you take to upgrade your results?
The specific action is uh to always self-talk that I am a good leader, not a good follower.
Yeah, okay rin, good follower, pero good leader din. Okay, great leader. So,
Great.
okay, nakuha niyo po yung screenshot natin. I am a leader with tremendous vision, empathy, and understanding of my people. This allows us to achieve immense success. We need to reframe our self-image in order for us to achieve the results that we want. Because, honestly, at a certain point in my business, I was afraid and timid to talk to top prospects. And meron akong dalawang top prospects na kabadong ka talaga ako i-presentan kasi very successful doctor and businessman. And I went to them and presented to them eventually, but both of them, well, the other one turned me down. The other one bought for his wife, what's it called this, bone formula. But at the end of the day, what was important because I was training myself to be a leader of leaders and talk to people who are outside of my comfort zone. So I encourage everyone to intentionally uh, deregulate yourself. Thank you, Doc Helen. Okay, Grace, you took out your you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doc Helen. Grace, volunteer ka ba? Anyone else? Deregulate. Time to deregulate yourself. Hirap ba? Gabi na. Okay, antok na rin ako. So, I hope you take a screenshot of this. Okay, Grace, go ahead.
Yun na nga, yung mga, sometimes when you meet failures, parang that become a basis na sometimes you wanted to start again and then build yung past dinadala mo pa rin, so sometimes it's stopping you. So yung dapat kong gawin is unload ko na yung mga mga baggages and then focus sa 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 goal ko yun. And ano ba? And so what the specific action will it take to upgrade your result? Ito, mag-step forward, step up, and then always yun nga, mag-show up when it is really needed, And yun. So yun, John.
All right, thank you, Grace. So, uh, let's do this. All of us will go through the same process, and the question is, how do we now move forward? So let's. I'd like to share this last video in ending this training. Let's watch this and understand what is the process that we are going through as we pursue our transformation to be the best leader that we can be. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed our session this evening. Before we call it a night, I will just make some announcements. Tomorrow evening, we will have a session to follow through our training and our momentum after the the regional convention. So tomorrow evening in Octagon, we will have a 7 p.m. training on how to do effective one-on-ones. We will learn how to understand our prospects better, bust their scotomas, and handle their objections. And then on August 4, I'll be in Cebu for a BOM in the evening at 7 p.m. So I encourage everyone to invite their prospects to Cebu. It is at the ninth floor of Insular Building and Ayala Business Center. August 5, I will be running a spa party training in Cebu for all distributors there. So invite all your distributors and up. On Saturday, August 6, I'll be at Iloilo for the BOM at 2 p.m. together with Lisa Ignalaga. On August 8th, I will be in Bacolod. So we'll run a BOM. I will be finding looking for a venue and you can invite your prospects to that BOM at 6:30 p.m. I'll let you know by Tuesday. On August 9, I will be in Davao for a BOM at the Walk-in Center. And August 10, spa party training in Davao. Invite all distributors and up so that they can execute the spa party on their own after the trainings. So with that, thank you for joining our session tonight, and I wish everyone a an inspired, impactful week ahead. We will see you again next Sunday. Oh, sorry, everyone. Tomorrow you are invited to our online, if you are from the province, uh, webcast of our how to do effective one-on-ones training. And so the next after that will be Sunday night again next week, 10 p.m. So that before we sleep, we have taken our R squared night. We renew our spirit before we start the week. So thank you everyone for attending and good night.